Hello, everybody. Welcome again to the Anita Posch Show and the Bitcoin for Fairness series. After my travels to Zimbabwe and Zambia, this is a new interview with Miss Aurra from Harare. She's the headmistress at St. Anne's Schools, and she's a visionary and entrepreneur. She has been using Bitcoin since 2020 when we first met and installed a Bitcoin wallet on her phone. We're talking about how she was able to reopen the school with the help of your Bitcoin donations and about the successful opening of a second premise. We are also discussing the hardships of money inflation, what people think about Bitcoin in the country, and where a lot of the US dollar liquidity to exchange for Bitcoin is coming from. I'm also asking you for new donations for the school. Aurra and the schools, they need computers. They only have 2 computers so far for 120 students. So if you want to donate to that cause, please go to bffbtc.org/school donation. bffbtc.org/school donation. Thank you very much. As always, you can watch this interview on YouTube or listen to it in your favorite podcast player. If you want to try something new and stream some Satoshis to me, please use the Breeze app, the Fountain app, or the Sphinx Chat app to do that. Thanks for supporting Bitcoin for Fairness. Go out to the Human Rights Foundation, to Leden.io, and OKCoin. And in this case, also to Trezor for donating hardware wallets for my Academy participants. Thank you very much. And now, enjoy the interview.
Learn Bitcoin will teach you the why and how to use Bitcoin. To safely navigate this financial technology, you'll need the knowledge that this book provides. Jameson Lopp, co-founder and CTO, CASA. Order your copy now at learnbitcoin.link. That's learnbitcoin.link.
So hello, Aurra. Hello again. Thanks for doing this with me. We are here at St. Anne's School, and you've been a guest on the Anita Posch Show for 2 times now.
Yeah.
It's the 3rd time. The first one was in 2020 when I visited Zimbabwe the first time.
Yeah.
A lot of things have changed, and we're going to talk about that. Can you please at the beginning introduce yourself to the people who have not met you before?
Okay.
And yeah, please go ahead.
Cool. Well, thank you for hosting me again. Hi, my name is Aurra Kawanzaruwa, but everyone just calls me Miss Aurra, and I am an educator. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a futurist as well, and I'm a creative in too many things. But I'm here in my capacity as an educator. And I'm the school principal and a director at St. Anne's School. It's a primary school in Zimbabwe. We start from kindergarten all the way up to 7th grade, which is sort of the last grade for primary school here before you go into high school. And it's an old school. It's actually 73 years old this year. We were established in 1947, but weren't really given much opportunity to grow as a school, and was always very small. So we're now on a growth spurt. So that's a little bit about who I am.
Mm-hmm. And you did great work here, because 2 years ago the school had to be shut down because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then we did the first round of donation with Bitcoin, and in 2021 the second one. Can you tell us a little bit about where you are now with the school? You even opened the second school.
Yeah, it's exciting. So where we are right now is we are stable. That's what I like to call it. We're stable. We're at a point where, we are, we're operational, we're functioning, lessons are happening, we are paying our bills, we're not defaulting, we haven't had any issues in terms of like our properties or anything. We're managing our business at the moment. We're not growing at the rate that I would have liked, mostly because of the economy. And just, when the tough thing about running a school, what a lot of people don't understand about running a school is it's not like normal businesses where whatever you put your price at, if you can afford it, you can. If you can't, you can't. When you're running a school, especially in this country, you have to really, really think about the parent. You have to really think about what's practical and what they can afford, So We have parents who've been with us since the school was just like a charity case, so who maybe don't have as much money or can't afford the fees that we really need to charge to run this place properly.
It's a private school here.
Yeah, it's a private school, but it's one of the smaller private schools. It's not like the big, huge, elaborate ones. So that's been really difficult in that because the economy is so harsh on us as a business, it's harsh on parents who are our clients. So, it's been very difficult trying to find a balance. But outside of that, we're doing really great. We're at capacity. So we have, enough children in the classrooms. We could do with a little extra, maybe 10 or 20 more students. But so far, we're managing okay. The kids are very happy. We have opened a second premises because we outgrew this one so quickly in a year. We actually had no more space for all our students. So we rented another property about 5 minutes away from here. And that's where we've put our little ones, so our kindergarten age kids. So from the age of 4 to 7, that's where they're based at the other school. We call it the Dorchester campus.
And then they basically, if they grow older, they come here?
Yes. Okay. Then when they hit the 3rd grade, then they move to the big school. So now they call this the big school, and that's the little school, although they're kind of slightly bigger than ours. But we still interact a lot because the swimming pool is here. So they come here for swimming on Thursdays, and we still see each other. And there's a shuttle bus between the 2 schools.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we've set up a little shuttle system.
A lot,
yeah, systems. I think we underestimate the power of having systems. I'm a very organized person. In work, I'm very organized. When it comes to work, I'm very organized. So it's about systems. And once you set up a system, everything runs really smoothly. You're not late with your rent. You pay your taxes. You pay your bills on time. You pay staff on time. But, we are okay. We're doing okay.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think it's very important to be very well organized here, right?
Yeah.
Because of the economic situation, because of the fact how the value of the money has deteriorated in the last years since I came. It's actually, as an outsider, I would say it's a kind of a tradition that the Zimbabwean dollar or the money here is losing its value, sometimes even in hyperinflation. So tell us a little bit, please, about how do you manage? I mean, how much do you earn, or how much does the average person here earn? Because I think, even for me, I just realized the other day that one of the Bitcoiners that came to my talk last Saturday from 6 hours away, he drove with the bus overnight to come to Harare because it's difficult. You don't have a train or anything else. And he then, in the interview with him, I realized this guy can't afford a computer, And so it's so difficult here to set up a company, and you have several. So tell us a little bit about the hardship here of the life. And at the same time, you are very kind, open, and happy people. How does that work?
That's an interesting question. It's many questions. Yeah. Right? So I think let's work from the top down. So when it comes to running a business, you have to be extremely organized. We set our pricing at the US dollar, which allows us some stability. So we don't set our prices in the local currency, which is the ZWL, which is the Zim dollar. That way we can sort of plan and measure, because most of our bills are paid in US dollar. Our rent is paid in US dollar, salaries, etc.
So meaning that everyone wants the US dollar.
Everyone wants the US dollar, so you have to price, but then not everyone pays in US dollar. So then at that point, then you have to peg it at the US dollar. I'm trying to choose my words very carefully because I don't want to get into trouble. And then you create a separate price list in Zim dollar. Okay, so that separate price list, we don't use a rate, we don't rate, we just create a price that works for us in Zim dollar. People by nature will then end up they'll divide your Zim dollar, fee by the US dollar fee and try to figure out a rate. Like what rate are you using to change? Sorry, forgive me. The term rate here is like using the word bread. It's just
every day. I've learned every day you're calculating the prices again. Like if you have a price in US dollar, you ask for the rate, and then you're calculating how you're better off if you pay in US dollar or in Sim dollar, because sometimes there are really big differences.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Sometimes there are big differences, and we find that the US dollar fee doesn't go up as much as the Zim dollar fees might, because the truth is on the ground, the Zim dollar things, even just in the shops, when you're going to buy stuff or to pay for services, that price is constantly going up. So you have to constantly adjust your Zim dollar price. So this is why people end up paying in US dollar, because you know it's set.
And why you don't have menus in restaurants with Sim dollar prices.
Yes.
They have a separate sheet for the prices because it changes every day.
Yeah, every other day. Yeah. So that's sort of how we've managed to do it. But then again, like I mentioned a bit earlier, the economy is tough. You know, most private schools, like the really good ones, like us, because we're a very good private school. As far as I'm concerned, we're very good. But most of the private schools are charging, the lowest would be maybe $600 a term. So that's like $200 a month. That's like a really cheap private school. Okay. But on average, the good private schools, on average, you're looking at for kindergarten, $1,200 a term. And for primary school, anywhere between $3,000 and $6,000 US dollars a term.
Wow, that's $1,000 or $2,000 a month.
Yeah, $1,000 to $2,000 a month.
US dollars.
US dollars.
Oh my. Okay.
And of course, those schools, they don't need anything. I don't even think they know how to spell the word donation, because they don't have it. They have everything. They're like the top tiers.
Do the teachers there get more also?
Yes, they get very good salaries. Very, very good salaries. So for example, I'm a headmistress. I'm at liberty to share. I'm very happy to share my salary. In this scenario, we have two. We have two schools, yes? So we have our kindergarten and we have our primary school.
And you're headmistress of both?
And I'm the headmistress of both, and the administrator and the nurse and the what and whatever else I need to be. And I earn $350.
A month?
A month.
Yeah. And that's basically, I think, almost less than the rent in many cases, right? Yes. Because rents here are like almost in Europe.
Pretty much $500 rent, yeah. So, and I'm the highest paid.
Wow, yeah.
I'm the highest paid here. So, and our teachers get about $200, and that's excluding transport. And they are, you know, amongst others, also considered very genuinely well paid. Wow. You know, even though it's poor paid, you know, but...
Even doctors in hospitals only earn 300 or something, right?
Yeah. You know, and I mean, it's still not enough. You know, it's terrible because I'm paying them knowing that this is not enough.
Yeah.
This is not enough. I know you can't. And these are people with children, with families, with rentals to pay, you know, people with responsibilities, with cars, you know, that need to put fuel in their cars and whatever. We only have one teacher who has a car.
Yeah, and there's no public transport here, right?
We have to use like the state-owned transport, state-run transport. And so, I mean, I already am aware that people are not getting paid well, you know, and it's tough, you know. It then now boils down to how you treat people, because also the working conditions go a long way, you know, in whether someone chooses to stay. Sometimes on average, maybe let's say you get a job that's paying a lot more. Before I decided to start sort of running my own businesses, I was also part of the work market, you know. I was a worker on the ground, you know. So I've worked at companies where, you know, maybe I get a really good salary, but I end up leaving because here the market it's the employer's market. In Zimbabwe, it's the employer's market. The employee, you are nothing. The employer has all the power in Zimbabwe. So they will treat you however they want. Here, we have a very sort of Ubuntu system. I know I talk about Ubuntu a lot. It might sound cheesy to some people, but it's genuinely how we function, how I like to run my businesses. So we treat each other, yes, as colleagues, but also, you know, there's a family sense as human beings. They're human beings first. So yes, you're getting a salary, and yes, I make sure you get your transport money in full. But then we also, like, you know, every day when we're staying late, they get meals. Every day they get tea time, you get tea, coffee, you know, you get a meal at break, a meal in the morning, that's a meal in the afternoon. Right? Yeah, when you're sick, you get your time off, no harrowing. We have a lot of mums, if your child is sick and you need to go, there's no, you have to go see HR and you have to make a request, you go. Sometimes where we can, we'll even pay for your taxi to take your child to go to the hospital or the doctor, or we try and, where we can, we have a sick bay, the healing bay, you know, that medication, it's not just for the kids, we also have grown-up medication. So when people are sick, we also give you medication because it's so expensive here. Or we help you buy medication. So we try to look after the person, knowing that, yes, we don't pay you much, but we'll do everything else we can as well to make you as comfortable and as happy as possible. So that's sort of how we try to balance things.
So now you were speaking about healthcare. I don't know if you want to disclose that, but somebody here was ill with COVID very heavily, and that's why you also have a strict policy to wear masks. Tell us why that is, and why are people so scared of getting ill here?
Getting COVID in Zimbabwe is like a death sentence in two ways. One, the actual healthcare system is not great, so you have to go to private hospitals, and private hospitals are really expensive. You know, like some of them will even, at the peak of COVID, you know, some hospitals were even saying $2,000 cash
per night,
up front, before you're even allowed through the door, before you even know how much it'll cost you per night if you're a COVID patient. In the car park, in the parking lot, that's where you pay. You're not even allowed through the door. They'll come and get the money in full PPE regalia from your car or wherever you are, and then allow you inside. I mean, ICU, you're looking at about $500 a night. Look at my salary. In a month, I can't even, off my 1 month salary, I can't even pay for one night in hospital. You know, and it's just ridiculous. The cost of medication, a doctor's consultation, for example, will be $25 at the minimum. But for a specialist, you're looking at about $120, $200 just to see a specialist. It's ridiculous. So that's why we also then, it was very important for us to introduce a sick bay, you know, somewhere where there's some kind of facility. Because you have some kids, for example, where you know, times are tough. Maybe the parents can't actually afford to buy medicine. So they send the kid to school and say, no, they're fine, but they're really not okay. And you ask the kid, you know, what are you taking? And they'll tell you maybe like home remedies. No, my mom made me lemon tea, you know, because that's all they really could do at this point in time. She got sick at the wrong time of the month. You know, we make that joke. It's wrong time of the month to get sick, you know. So we always make sure that, knowing that, not to shame anyone, instead of saying, why is your child sick? You know, we just cover the gap where we can, give you as much medication, medical attention. If your child needs to sleep, we'll let you sleep in the sick bay. Maybe home's not really okay, or maybe the mom is working, there's no one to leave the child at home with. You come, you sleep here, you know, we look after you. Because healthcare in this country, where can you start really? And medical aid as well, it's a bit of a sham in this country. It's not as reliable. You'll pay your medical aid and still have a significant shortfall. You know, so, and not everyone again can afford medical aid. The good medical aid, you have to pay in US dollars. You pay your subs in US, but not everyone earns in US. And then when you look at the salaries on the ground, you can't even, that's like a good chunk of your salary just paying for your healthcare. And then you've got 2, 3, 4 kids.
So, I mean, I'm here for Bitcoin for Fairness because I believe that Bitcoin can be a little bit of a remedy for people in emerging countries, especially also in Zimbabwe, because it doesn't hyperinflate, you know, it doesn't inflate. All right, it's going up and down all the time, but if you can manage to think long term and to save a little bit, then it might help you, or at least you don't lose value. Can you tell us a little bit about your experiences or maybe let's start in general. Do you think I'm right with that idea? Do you see the possibilities how Bitcoin could help people in these countries? What's your opinion on that?
I think so. I think one, it's accessible, it's affordable. Bitcoin is affordable.
Yes, because most people think one Bitcoin is $40,000 and you can't buy it, but you can buy get fractions of it.
Yes. and even just the fees that are associated with even the higher fees for sending a small amount. It's still not as bad as the banks would charge, and we're heavily taxed here in Zimbabwe. So I think yes, it can provide a platform to make people's lives easier, especially when it comes to remitting money or passing money around within the continent. So many countries are so tied up, in terms of sending money to each other. So if my mother is sick and I happen to be in South Africa, I have to go and find a Western Union or a Mukuru or something to send them the money. But with Bitcoin, and then they have to go and find somewhere to go. Bitcoin, it's fast, it's instant, it's in their wallet, they can see it. They can send it to someone, they can come and drop it off. So I feel like, it is a bit easier to use. It's still more stable than our currency.
Yeah.
Oh, please don't come and arrest me, okay? I'm a good person. But it's. I think you have a point. Yeah, it could, if more people adopted it.
Yeah.
The problem is that there's so few people.
Exactly. Here, you have money dealers. You can exchange it to US dollars. That's good.
Yeah.
But you can't exchange it yet with other people.
Not yet.
So, and I'm also here. Tomorrow we're going to do a little workshop, and I want to introduce you to the Lightning Network. With that, you even can have faster payments and smaller ones, with less transaction fee, like you have on the Bitcoin network. Because from what you were telling me about how much you earn, I gather you can't even save a lot.
I don't save at all.
At all, exactly, because you have to spend everything because you need it. And people, I learned also, even if they don't need a thing now, they buy it now because the next day it's more expensive. So I think there's a point in trying to break this and to get into this long-term thinking. And even if it's just 50 cents a week or maybe a month, and that is something that you can do with the Lightning Network. You couldn't do that with Bitcoin before.
Right.
So I hope that this can help you in any way or support you in the future. And I think more and more people here learn about it. And if they see the advantages, they might even start a bit small Bitcoin community here,
Yeah.
I want to put you also in contact with the guy from Bulawayo who came here because we set up a group to exchange information, to learn, and not feel so lonely in using Bitcoin here.
Yeah. That would be amazing. The more people we know, the better. Because then even if we could pay each other, I wish I could pay my rent in Bitcoin. I really do. It would make life a little bit easier, or, be able to just do a simple service or a transaction. I know there's things that allow us to maybe buy airtime and stuff, but
yes,
you want to use it. There's a way that it's hard to, especially in Zim, there's not much of a saving culture here. But if there's something that allows us to interact with each other and, be able to exchange, and then through that, be able to generate income in such a way that you can start putting money aside and can start saving, that would be great. So absolutely, very keen.
What are the challenges here or problems that you faced in the last 2 years when you have been using Bitcoin?
I don't like the price fluctuation thing. It gave me high blood pressure, so I stopped checking. Just stopped checking. I was like, this is bad for my health. I think also, the limited number of people that know about it and that use it. The negative perception associated with Bitcoin here. It's considered it's a dealer's thing. It's not really on a good social standing. So you can't really even talk about it much in case someone thinks you are trying to launder money or something of that nature, so
or a scammer
or a scammer, the moment you say Bitcoin, they think that you're trying to scam someone or something, so
or
sell something to someone, so it's just that negative perception that has been a bit of a challenge. Also the fact that the network is still really, really small, so it's limited. So for example, I remember, especially during December, during the Christmas holidays, I think all the all the traders had traveled.
Okay, so there was no one here to exchange
There
the
was
money.
no one to exchange the money, you know, and things like that. So that was like, geez, we're too small. This community is too small, you know. Yeah.
So are there any technical things that you came across that hindered you or made it more difficult to use it?
The cost of data here. Internet's really expensive here. Data is really expensive.
Yes.
So sometimes
and it's very slow. That's the next thing.
you have moments where you just give up and you're like, okay. And it's mostly because of the power cuts. I don't think it's because our actual speed is like that. But when power cuts happen, the base stations go down. Or the base stations are put on generator or on backup power.
How is this with text messages? So do the mobile phone providers, you can still use text message,
Yes.
even though the power is down.
Yes.
And so that's reliable.
Low. Yes.
So if you manage, if there would be a possibility to use Bitcoin over text messages, that would be helpful in that.
If there was like a USSD code for Bitcoin, that would be great.
What is a USSD
So
code?
USSD is like star. So like *151 hash, you know, and then you dial it, and then you get like a menu option,
Okay,
and you
so-
press 1 to do this, 2 to do that.
Okay, that's like
Yeah.
you use mobile money.
It's like mobile money. So yeah, I think if there was a USSD version of Bitcoin, it would revolutionize everything.
Yeah, because everyone is using mobile money,
Yeah.
and that would be just a change in habit, like using.
mobile banking. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, maybe that way. But I would say technically, yeah, I would say the cost of data. Just access to the internet sometimes, just to access your wallet or to send money. Sometimes you need to send money and then you can't because network is really slow. And then sometimes it's like this, the technology itself. Sometimes like, I remember there was a time I had a challenge with my wallet. I think I even reached out to you to say my wallet's not working. And it wasn't reading, I don't know, the SMS center for this country. And then everything sort of fell out of whack and I couldn't access my funds for like a month.
Really?
Yeah, it was just, and you know, it ended up the problem was actually on our end and I had to reach out to our, my local mobile, you know,
You needed a text verification or something.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was
okay.
and it wasn't coming, and it was something to do with,
I understand.
you know, they'd flagged certain sites or whatever, and couldn't get messages from certain areas. So it was just like, you know, little things like that. But I would say, if we're talking technically, I guess just access to data and the cost of data as well. Yeah.
And also you have these internet bundles. We were talking about this in an earlier interview, because I'm using mobile internet here. And I paid $60 for 60 gigabyte, no, 60 gigabyte, I think. A lot, because it was a lot. Because in Europe, I'm paying 35 euros for unlimited internet. And here I'm paying 60 US.
What?
Yes.
Can I come with you? Can you put me in your backpack? Or is there a way to hotspot me your Wi-Fi from your house?
How much is unlimited internet here?
$220.
So basically your whole income.
My whole salary can pay for unlimited.
Yeah, no, that's
Basically.
crazy. That's crazy.
Basically.
Then tell me a little bit about, you said Bitcoin has a shady, name here, like people are suspicious about it. It's not credible. You were exchanging US dollars in person.
Yes.
And I tell that now from my perspective, from my experience, a friend of mine had, because you weren't there. So this person came then, so it was very, very easy to get in touch with a money dealer. And this person came and I think he used the Moon wallet, which is a great wallet to use. And so my friend hopped into the car of the guy, and then he showed her his Moon wallet and his address, and she paid the Bitcoin, sent it to him. And in that moment, he saw it here, and he also used the official exchange rate, like the one that the wallet showed. Mm-hmm. So they didn't have a special rate or something. Yeah. And then he got out a huge packet of money, you know. He had loads of US dollars. Yeah. So my friend was then saying to me, so I don't know, where do these guys get the money from, yeah? What do you think? What do you think? Because you can't speak in an official way here, yeah? But what do you think about that?
Let me choose my words very carefully.
Yes.
It's okay. I'll use an example of selling a house. Okay, a lot of people who own houses here don't live here. So maybe they live in New Zealand or Australia or something, and they sell their house.
They went abroad to
Yeah,
work
they went to go live and
live
properly
there.
relocate.
The same ones who send remittances maybe to
Exactly.
their families. Yeah.
Perfect example. So these guys will then they will then sell their house, but then they need their money that
Yes.
side.
Yes.
But to get their money from here to there
Yes.
becomes nightmarish, and you end up losing maybe even a whole quarter of the value of the money. So the easiest way to send it would be through Bitcoin. That they just then receive it in their Bitcoin wallet, and then they do whatever they need to do, because out there Bitcoin works a lot different to how it works here. You know, it's a lot more adopted. You know, you can use, you know, platforms like local Bitcoin, and actually, you know, you can accept PayPal and all that stuff. We can't do all that.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's an example of why, for example, someone might end up having like maybe like
Stashes
$500,000
of money.
US
Yeah.
because they're sending. Also, you know, I'm going to stop there.
Yes. So in a way, we could say Bitcoin is democratizing sending money all over the world, maybe even without paying tax.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I thought a lot about it, and I also think, on one hand, how to think about that, you know? And I only know the big ones, the big banks, the big guys. They are always laundering money. You can't tame that, you know.
No.
It's like trying to tame drug sales.
Yes.
You can't, yeah. And it's the same here. And now, at least with Bitcoin, everybody is free to use his or her money the way she or he wants. And the highest percentage of us common people, we are good people, we want to do good things.
Yes.
And so I think it's okay and it's good that Bitcoin enables that we can do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I think you know, like the guys who do the live peer-to-peer exchange, etc.
Yeah.
You know, they'll charge premium rates. Like if you want to, like for example, a good example is I've got an employee who lives in Ghana. And he's a full-time employee, full contract, but he's never been here. He's a remote employee, and we pay him in Bitcoin. And, you know, until I then found someone who I have an understanding with and who understands this is monthly, for a long time, people would charge me right up to 20% of the amount that I want to send.
For sending Bitcoin, for getting
to buy Bitcoin,
Yeah.
you pay, you know,
because you have
premium.
you have a premium here because
Yeah.
it's so hard to get it.
It's so hard to get it. And the premium, I remember at some point when things were really, really, like when Bitcoin was shooting up, the premium also shot up.
Oh wow!
You know, so some guys I know are charging up to 35% of the amount that you want to buy, and that's how they make their money.
Yeah, but it's not nice because they they sell Bitcoin and they want to hold it because it increases. Yeah, so we would need to look for ways that you can get your Bitcoin from abroad, that you don't have to pay this premium. Yeah, I know from them there are guys they want to build a exchange that also allows Zimbabweans to exchange US dollars to Bitcoin there, and I guess they won't have such a high premium. Tomorrow I'm going to tell you there are also other possibilities to exchange US dollars to Bitcoin. I think some exchanges are allowing Zimbabweans, because you're under sanctions.
Yeah.
So most platforms, as soon as you say you give your address, because you have to walk through this KYC process, you get locked out. Yeah. Which is horrible for people here, because you're not responsible for the, yeah.
What she said.
And what I didn't say is that the thing that I'm going to tell you when I'm home, you simply can't say some things here.
No.
Yeah. And that's the human rights perspective, why I think Bitcoin is so important here, because it allows people here to speak freely. Like in speech, money is also free speech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. I've never heard that.
Yeah, I'm yeah. It's a human right to access money as free speech, because you give value to things. If you send money to, let's say, a political campaign or party, then that's your choice. And if anyone can see what you're doing with your money, which is also happening, they are surveilling everything, then they can get you in a way, you know. There was this demonstrations in Hong Kong 1 or 2 years ago, where people went to demonstrations, and first they bought their ticket for the underground with their cards. But then the government cracked down on them and could find the people who were going to the demonstrations through their bank transactions. And then people started to use cash again. So that's an example of how Bitcoin is enabling free speech as a human right. So and that's why I'm running around in countries like that to share this knowledge, you know?
Yeah. The more we know, knowledge is power.
Yeah, exactly.
Knowledge is power, yeah.
So thank you very much, Aurra. Maybe do you have a closing statement where you want to tell something to our listeners and viewers about the school, about your work, about what you wish for, something like that? A message.
Thank you. I guess that's my first message, for just showing an interest. It's just this random, obscure little school somewhere in Harare, Zimbabwe, in the southernmost part of Africa. And here you are watching and actually interested. For everyone that's even followed us, I know we don't tweet much or post much, forgive me, I get really busy, but you know, the fact that you retweet or follow what we're doing and just have an interest, just that alone already means so much. You know, it really boosts our self-esteem. It boosts our confidence to say, you know, hey, we're something, you know, we're a small school, but someone out there cares about us. And we're really grateful for, on top of that, then the donations. Then you give of your money, your hard-earned income, on top of just the general support. That's really humbling. And I speak on behalf of everyone, all our staff, all our students, to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I truly, truly appreciate it. You've seen for yourself, you've done wonders, literally signs and wonders. It's been amazing. We're just happy. And Anita's here. Thank you for supporting Anita so that she could come here and be with us. And
yeah, exactly. And I would like to thank OKCoin, Leiden, and the Human Rights Foundation for enabling that.
What she said.
Yeah. And what she said. And I want to give you one copy of my book, because I think it might help you to even gain more knowledge. Thank you. About Bitcoin. And maybe also teach your students a little bit more about it. And now, after we're closing that video, thanks for watching. I'm going also to donate to you, to the school, in the name of the Bitcoin for Fairness initiative, so that you can buy whatever you need, maybe a computer. No, I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure how much does a computer cost that you need?
$250.
What, USD?
250 USD.
Okay, I'm donating a computer.
Look at us, hey, Joshua, did you hear that? Sorry.
Okay, you've got your wallet here?
Yes.
So I can directly send you that afterwards. We're doing that. Crazy. One computer for the school. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
That's it. Thanks for tuning in. As I said, if you want to donate to St. Anne's School for new computers, books, and things like they really need, please go to bffbtc.org/school donation in one word. bffbtc.org/school donation. If you've enjoyed my show so far, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also to my newsletter at anita.link/news. A special thank you goes out to the Human Rights Foundation, to OKCoin, and to Leden for supporting the work of Bitcoin for Fairness. And this time for the Zimbabwean travel, also to Tresor for donating hardware wallets for my Academy participants. Thank you very much, and see you soon at the next episode of the Anita Posch Show.